Today's video, I'm going to break down the most frustrating coverage defense in all of Madden 23. You can use this defense to stop any offense in the game. It stops the run and the pass while still getting really good pressure and playing lockdown coverage all at the same time. Spoiler alert, this is not man coverage, zone coverage, or even match. Let's get into it now. YouTube, what is up? It's your boy Duke, back here from sportsgamers.com, and in today's Madden 23 video, I want to talk about the hybrid coverage defensive scheme. We're going to be breaking down how you can use the hybrid defense, the hybrid coverage, to lock up any offense in the game. This is by far the best way to play defense this year. I've been a big proponent of the hybrid coverage defense for years now. I've used it for years, and this year, to stop good players, you can't play man, you can't play zone, you can't even just play match all game. You have to mix it up. But the hybrid coverage is your best bet, because what a hybrid coverage is, it's a combo of both man and zone coverage, which makes it really confusing for the offense to figure out what they need to do. So we're going to get straight into it. You can use a hybrid coverage look from many different types of defenses, but my favorite this year by far is to use a hybrid coverage concept from a cover to blitz. The reason for this is I want to bring some pressure so you have to make quick decisions. And I want to play a man and zone combo, and that's easiest to do from a cover 2 base. So I run the 4-6 playbook on defense. You can kind of do this from any playbook, honestly, because this is a concept, it's a principle, it works for many formations. Some of my favorites, I'd say my top 3 favorites to use it from are nickel over, nickel 3-3 cub, and dollar. So when running this, because it's a cover 2 base, even though it's a hybrid, I do like to have auto flip on. That just makes it so that if I'm in like nickel, I will have the nickel back on the strong side of the offensive formation. Auto alignment's going to be set to base. Again, that's just kind of, I like to have my corners out wide. That helps against corner routes and things of that nature. And my zone drops, I actually do keep on default to start the game. Now, obviously, I will adjust these throughout the game if necessary. For instance, if my opponent was killing me corner routes, I could also put my flats to a 25-yard depth. If I wanted to do double Mabel, I could do a 25-yard on flats, curl flats on 5, etc. If someone was hurting me with slants over the middle field, I could set like a zone drop for my hooks at 5, right? I could definitely do different things, but by the beginning of the game, I am keeping it on default until I see what they like to do, and then I start to adjust them. So I'm going to show you guys personally my favorite formation to use it from right now, and that's going to be dollar. So dollar is really good because you have actually a lot of good blitzes that you see me run this year. I've shown some breakdowns for them. One of the most popular ones this year is the DB Fire 2, and you can actually make this defense way better by using a hybrid principle, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So let's start off against a trips formation. So guys, in this video, I'm going to break down how you can run this defense against many different offensive formations, also some trips, some spread, some bunch, etc., etc. Lots of different formations so you guys can see how to adjust it depending upon the formation or the type of formation your opponent uses. So first, I want to talk about the types of players and abilities you want to use for this scheme. Then we'll get into setups against different formations. And as a reminder, I do free Madden 23 videos, tips, and gameplays on a daily basis on my channel. So if you enjoy this content, show the love, smash that like button, comment on the video, subscribe. All that stuff helps me out a lot, and I will respond to any comments I get. So let's get it. The first thing I want to mention is that abilities are more important if you play MUT. On regs, it doesn't matter too much. Regs, there aren't a ton of abilities anyway, so it's not a big deal. But if you play MUT, you definitely want to maximize your abilities. And if you do play MUT, all of your players on defense, except for the D linemen, need to have pick artist, and then it's just, from there, it's all about knockouts, right? So what I like to do on MUT is put my 2 outside corners and 2 deep safeties with deep out zone knockout. Past that, now there's corners such as Fuller and Deion Sanders and a few others, but those are the 2 main ones I like, that you can actually get acrobat and pick artist both for 0. So I'll use those guys as my outside corners, have pick artist, acrobat for 0, then the deep out zone knockout and mid zone knockout. I like mid zone knockout right now better than flat zone knockout. That's my personal opinion. Now, you guys saw me make a video about this before, but for the safeties, I really like using Roads Closed, Warden, the Showcase, basically the AKA players that get the universal coverage X factor, because that's basically every knockout in the game and one step ahead for half of the game. And then if you also put deep out zone on them, the half of the game they don't get it, you can just leave them in their deep zones to get the knockouts, right? The final thing I'll do is I'm always going to have one sub linebacker I user. So the one I don't user, I put deep route knockout on him. So I can man him up, and whoever I man him up to will not get cooked. That's basically how I run this defense. So let's imagine we're going up against trips. Now, a thing to note about this defense is you definitely need a sub safeties and a linebacker, even if you're playing regs. If you user one of the guys is not, the guy you user isn't quite as big of a deal, but still it is better to always have safeties in the game because they'll be getting manned up. They just get better animations. So to set this up against trips and really any formation, the first thing we do is press, right? By pressing, we bring our DBs up to get ourselves some pressure. Now, against trips, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the safety on the tight end side, man him up to the tight end, right? Then you're going to want to take safety on the receiver side, man him up to the outside receiver. This is just going to make sure that that outside receiver does not beat you over the top. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the sub linebacker really that's in the box on the receiver side, man him up to that inside receiver. Now, at this point, you do have some options. What I do a lot of times is actually take that corner that's kind of lined up right here and man him up to this slot. That way, it's going to look like this. Now, there is another way you could do this that is also pretty effective, and that's simply to put this guy over here that was in a flat zone by default. Put him in a deep zone so you don't have to worry about getting beat deep, and then man this guy up to the slot. If you do it this way, you recognize that the outside left receiver is uncovered, and you will need to guard him. When running this type of defense, the key is two things. First of all, to recognize the offensive formation and know the routes that can beat you, so then you know what you need to user, basically. So, for instance, in a trips formation, I know that this is a formation where you got that inside receiver and tight end that could have corner routes. Other than that, it's a lot of crossers. So, automatically, when running this setup, I know that I have to watch basically for that outside left receiver potentially on a post route over the middle of the field. However, if they just send him deep, I'm good. So, by knowing that, I know what I need to guard with my user. So, basically, if I see routes over the middle field to the tight end, I know that that's something that I will need to user because I do have him manned up and I kind of need to just throw that off. Now, with my user, I'm going to stand over this guard. When I stand over the guard, that's going to allow the pressure to come in, and this is going to be the first way we can do this with a 5-man rush. I really like this because, as you guys can see, the pressure's there really quick. They're not going to have much time to make a read. If you're enjoying my free YouTube content, I highly recommend checking out sportsgamers.com. This is where I post all my premium content for Madden 23. I have offensive and defensive ebooks, schemes, plus I do 4 to 6 premium tips every week in the Madden Vault to keep you guys ahead of the game. Our best offer yet is the Sports Gamers Madden VIP membership. This is the best Madden membership anywhere on the net, the best content at the best price. You get access to the entire site for only $24.99. This means all of our ebooks, all of our Madden Vault tips, plus you even get access to our meta reports and our exclusive VIP members only community. I also do one-on-one coaching as well for you guys that are interested in that. See you at sportsgamers.com. If you're serious about winning more games, I will post a link in the description as well as in the comments. And I can kind of just take away the middle of the field with the crossers and the post. By the time, they get past their first read, they're pretty much sacked. But you guys can see, I have protection in the flat over here in case the running back goes out on a route, or in case even the tight end tries to run a quick corner, got a flat zone there. Over here, I have a deep zone, which will protect, for the deep ball. Also, potentially corner routes going to the sideline. So, really, I know that I'm good, minus just the middle of the field if there's some man beaters over the middle. I'm also protecting against that quick vertical seam throw by manning up that receiver. Now, there's also other ways you can run this. You could not blitz 5, and you could only say they kept sending the running back out on route. You could just rush 4. So the way to only rush 4, if they kept sending the running back out on the route, something like this, you don't need to send 5. You could just send 4. So if you notice them doing that, you could easily, run this defense slightly different by manning this guy up right here on this inside receiver. Again, still manning this guy up or putting him in a deep zone or leaving him in the flat. That's, again, up to you. Manning this guy up right here on the outside receiver, this guy on the tight end the same as before, and then this guy on the slot receiver. So it would look, if we could get our adjustments to show, basically Marlowe's manned up on the, there we go. Marlowe's lined up on the slot. He's manned up on the outside receiver. He's manned up on the inside receiver. Then we got the 2 flat zones, and that's kind of why we want acrobats, because acrobats will get dive, pick animations, and flat zones, and he's on the tight end. So kind of once again, I know that I have the sidelines guarded. Really what I'm looking out for is over the middle of the field. So again, we kind of just mug this gap. We kind of watch the middle, and as you guys can see, we're able to get that quick pressure for the sack. But once again, we had everyone manned up except for the running back and the 2 flat zones on the outside. So the 2 flat zones on the outside, I know, protect the sideline. So if the running back goes out the backfield, I'm not worried about that. Again, I'm not really worried about the quick throws to the sideline because I have flat zones that I can also zone drop if necessary. I do have everyone manned up. So again, it's kind of just defending the middle of the field. And like I said, if you're on MUT and all the knockouts, you don't really have to worry about anything deep either because you know the ball will get knocked out. Now, what about if somebody is running spread? Because like the first thing a lot of people say to me when I break down this type of defense is, well, what if they just spread you out and try to run 4 verticals? That's a very common question I get. And the answer to that is so simple. So if I'm playing against somebody who wants to run 4 verticals, again, I'm going to run the same defense, literally the same DB Fire 2 baseline press. But now, again, we're going to make adjustments. So the first thing I'm going to do is the safeties are getting manned up to basically both of the outside receivers. So I'm going to go ahead and man the safeties up to the outside receivers. Bam. Next thing I'm going to do is the safety that the sub linebacker that I'm not going to use her, he's going to get manned up to the slot. And that's basically going to be whichever of my sub linebackers has the deep route knockout. So if say it's the one on the left, he's going to get manned up to the left slot. I'm going to use her the other slot. Now, here's where the thing comes into play. The slot that's unguarded currently, he's going to get manned up by the blitzer. So again, it's going to look like this. I still have both of my flat zones, which again, I can use to defend the sidelines and the running back out of the backfield. And I'm still bringing pressure opposite the running back. Everybody's manned up, and I can still use her that middle of the field. I'm not worried about the running back going out of the backfield unless he goes over the middle of the field. In that case, I need to watch him. But, just kind of like default, you guys can see, nothing really gets open, even though my pressure didn't get in super fast there. There wasn't anything open, and I was able to get the sack. The other way you could run this against a spread set would be simply to man up the slots with your safeties, the slot receivers and the tight end, basically with your safeties, and then put both of the outside corners into deep zones. Now, when you do this, by default, both of those outside receivers are not manned up. So then you want to take the sub linebacker that has the route KO on him and man him up with the outside receiver on his side of the field. So knowing this, by default, I have basically the outside right receiver unguarded and the running back. So if the running back goes out of the backfield, I need to check him. Or if I see that outside right receiver go over the middle, maybe on a slant, again, I need to check him. So like here, I see that guy's on a slant, I go jump him. You guys can see if they threw that, that's a pick. But again, they're getting sacked before they can really even make any read here. Even when blocking the running back, you get 2 free. And this man-up system is very confusing. Obviously, you guys can see like we were playing, again, a man-zone combo. Not sure who's getting manned up by who. And we're able to take away that middle of the field ourselves. Now, the last thing I want to show you guys is how you could utilize this against a bunch set. Bunch sets, obviously are a little bit different. Most people are in bunch looking to quick snap verticals. This is actually one of the easiest defenses to stop the quick snap from verticals from. So, you already know, if someone's quick snapping verticals, they're probably just going ahead and put the running back out of the backfield on like a wheel route or something. So, all I do against someone who wants to quick snap verticals is very simple. I always use the sub linebacker on the running back side, but then I man up the blitzing corner to the running back, right? Then I take the other sub linebacker and man him up to the tight end, all right? Next, I take the basically the safety on the opposite side, all right, and I man him up to the outside receiver, and then I take the safety on the one receiver side, man him up to the slot. Finally, I deep zone this corner over here. So this is how it looks. At this point, again, all I really need to do is defend the middle of the field. Now, if they did happen to send the one receiver over the middle of the field, obviously that's what I'm looking out for. And again, that's kind of the whole thing about this defense. As I mentioned, you need to know the weaknesses, what they can attack you with, to also know who to use her. So at this point, I know that everything's guarded except for if that one receiver went over the middle of the field himself, I would need to check that. But if he just goes deep or tries to hit the sideline, it's guarded. So if I don't need to check that one receiver, I'm free to help out anywhere, which would probably just be over the middle of the field on man-beating routes such as crossers, trails, posts, etc. So like right here, I help out on that crossing route. You still get that pretty quick pressure off the edge, only rushing 4, and we're in there for the sack. So guys, you can kind of see how really effective this defense is, how it can get pressure, how it can slow down any formation, any offense. It's very, very easy. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button. It's Duke, and I'm out of here.